My name is Albert Towell from Summer Associate Hub, and this is Practice in Point One, where we hear from big law attorneys all about their practice in under 6 minutes or 0.1 billable hours. All right, so tell us your name, your title, and where you work.
Hi, my name is Morgan Brown. I am an associate in the Boston office of Wilson Sonsini. I'm in the technology transactions practice group, and I focus in life sciences. I usually try to explain at technology transactions as whenever IP changes hands. And with life sciences, that can vary from like getting a license from the university of a technology that's just being developed in the lab, so that you can commercialize it. It can be clinical trials to get the therapeutic or device out into the world. Or it can be later on, like distribution and supply and things like that. So a lot of variety within practice.
Great, so take us through a typical matter that you'd work on from beginning to end.
Yeah, so how about I just start with the first thing I mentioned, like a university license. Sometimes the client will ask us to help them negotiate the terms of the university license. That would include like the economics, like how much royalties are we going to give the university for a product that we commercialize? Are we going to give the university a chunk of the company, some equity portion?
Great, so what's often helpful for law students to know, what is your typical day like at work?
Yeah, that's I bet for a lot of people, it's a hard question to answer. But as a technology transactions associate in Wilson Sonsini, we get really early on hands-on experience. So from the beginning of when I was a junior associate, I started talking to clients throughout the day. And now that continues on. I'm speaking to clients. I'm negotiating agreements either live or through sending out drafts. Sometimes I am going across from big pharma, which is always exciting, but also a little daunting. I'm helping out the partners I'm working with. Either I'm doing the first pass of a draft or they're giving me comments back and I'm revising based on their comments. So there's a lot of variety in what the day can look like.
Great, and what do the other associates on your deal team do?
What we usually do is just like associate and partner deal teams, unless there's like a very large deal that incorporates a lot of practice groups, then there's other associates and different practice groups that are helping with the deal. So it's usually pretty leanly staffed and the associates doing mostly everything. And that would include like doing the first round, like the first impression of whatever we're doing. So if it's the draft, we're revising a draft and I'm like reviewing all the technology transactions relevant portions of the draft, and then the partner is reviewing that, or I'm taking notes on a call or things like that.
So what is the coolest deal or legal issue that you've come across in your work?
Yeah, there's a lot, but one that really sticks out to me, I wouldn't say it's a deal, but more of a collection of deals. But I have a client who does clinical trials throughout the world, and their whole basis is to try to like expedite clinical trials, try to make them more efficient. So they work with different pharmaceutical companies that have different therapeutics that they're going to test all in one clinical trial. And that's been a really cool experience for me because I'm negotiating against pharma companies, but I'm also negotiating against like the clinical trial sites and those all have the fit, and it's international as well. So sometimes you get some really cool perspectives from Australia or Europe and how clinical trials are managed there.
What type of person would enjoy being a tech transactions lawyer?
For me, I think that you don't really need to have a science background. You just have to have a willingness to learn science. And I think you also need to just want to know. That's what brought me into this practice, is because I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to be a doctor, and I really couldn't do it. I couldn't get over my fear of blood and needles. But here I have like really great exposure to the new cutting edge technology and innovation that's coming out of the new companies that are being formed. And I get that like front row seat because I'm helping them develop and I'm helping them commercialize that.
That's great. Well, thanks for the really great insights. Morgan Brown, a tech transactions associate at Wilson Sonsini, specializing in life sciences. Thank you for joining us and taking the time.
Of course, happy to be here. Thank you.